What if Jesus kept a diary? What would he write? We have the Gospels, which tell us about his life and teachings, but they're written by others, years after the events. They're like biographies. A diary, though, that's different. It's personal, immediate, filled with day-to-day thoughts, frustrations, and maybe even a few jokes. Let's imagine for a moment we've stumbled upon this incredible lost text. What might we find inside? Let's start at the beginning of his public ministry. I can imagine a page, the ink a bit faded, dated shortly after his baptism. He might write something like, "Went down to the Jordan today. John was there, fieri a saber. The moment the water hit me, something shifted. It was like the sky opened up, and a voice, deep and warm like my father's carpentry workshop, echoed in my soul. It said I was his son, that he was pleased." It's a lot to take in. There's this feeling, this weight of purpose, that's both exhilarating and terrifying. Am I ready for this? I hope so. Heading into the wilderness to think things through. Need to get my head straight before whatever comes next. This gives us a glimpse into his humanity, right? The self-doubt, the need for clarity. It's not just a divine being on a mission. It's a young man grappling with a colossal destiny. After his time in the desert, his diary might turn to the people he starts gathering. Picture this entry. Met some fishermen today by the lake. Simon is a character so impulsive, says whatever's on his mind. I told him and his brother Andrew to follow me, and Tehust did. Dropped their nets and walked away. It's humbling, the trust they're placing in me. I hope I can be the leader they need. We also met James and John, the Sons of Thunder, as I'm calling them. They have so much passion, but is a bit untamed. This is going to be an interesting group. My first team meeting might need some ground rules. Can you imagine Jesus trying to manage this motley crew? His diary could be filled with small, funny anecdotes. Note to self: when feeding a massive crowd, make sure to collect the leftovers. We ended up with 12 baskets full. Simon suggested we could open a bakery. I told him not to quit his day job. Oh wait, he already did. It shows a side of him we don't often think about: his sense of humor. The practical challenges of leading a dozen followers who are probably arguing half the time about who gets to sit where. The diary would also reveal the immense emotional and physical toll of his ministry. An entry might read, "Another long day. So many people. All of them hurting. A woman touched my cloak, just the hem, and she was healed. The look in her eyes. It was pure relief, but I felt the power go out of me. It's like a deep well inside, but even wells can run dry if you draw too much too fast. I had to get away, up on the mountain. The silence up here helps him recharge. Just me and my Father. It's the only way I can keep going. The disciples don't quite understand why I need this solitude. They're always ready for action. I need to teach them the importance of rest, of plugging back into the source. This vulnerability is what makes a diary so powerful. It's the behind the scenes. Look, we see the miracles, but he would have written about the cost of those miracles. Then there would be the entries about his opponents. He wouldn't just call them enemies. He'd try to understand them. Spoke with the Pharisees again today. They're so dedicated to the law, so precise. They genuinely believe they're protecting our heritage, but they've built so many fences around the law that they've fenced people out. They can't see the heart of the matter, only the letter. It's not that they're bad people. They're just stuck. How do I help them see without just making them angry? It feels like talking to a brick wall sometimes. But a wall my Father could probably knock down with a word. Patience. I need more patience. This shows his compassion, even for those who opposed him. He saw their humanity, their motivations, even when they were trying to trap him. His frustration would be real, but it would be tempered with a deep, abiding love. As things get more intense, leading up to that final week in Jerusalem, the tone of the diary would surely shift. The entries would become shorter, more urgent. Jerusalem, the air is thick with tension. It feels like a storm is about to break. My friends are arguing about who is the greatest. They still don't get it. My heart aches for them. And for this city, I wept for it today. So beautiful, yet so blind to the path of peace. I know what's coming. The path narrows now. There's no turning back. And that final entry, perhaps written in the Garden of Gethsemane, the handwriting might be shaky, maybe even stained with tears. It's tonight, the night it all comes to a head. My friends are asleep. They couldn't even stay awake for an hour. I feel so alone. The fear is overwhelming, a cold dread that seeps into my bones. I asked my father if there was any other way, if this cup could pass from me. The silence was the answer. It has to be this way. Not my will, but his be done. I can hear them coming now. Judas, I knew, but it still hurts. I'm ready, Father. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Reading something like that, you wouldn't just understand the story of Easter. You would feel it. You would feel the gut-wrenching fear, the human desire to escape, and the ultimate, world-changing surrender to a divine purpose. Of course, this is all speculation, a creative exercise. We don't have Jesus' diary, but what we do have are the accounts that have been passed down for 2,000 years. What this thought experiment does, I think, is it helps us connect with the humanity at the heart of the Gospels. It reminds us that Jesus wasn't a distant, unrelatable figure. He was a person who felt joy, frustration, exhaustion, and friendship. He laughed with his friends and felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. Imagining his personal thoughts allows us to see the Gospels not just as a sacred text, but as a deeply human story. It is a story about a man who had an earth-shattering purpose, but still had to navigate the daily messines of life. And maybe, by thinking about what he might have written, we can find new meaning in the words that asterisk or asterisk written about him. It brings the story to life, takes it from the ancient past, and places it right here in our hearts and minds. Thanks so much for watching and exploring this idea with me. It's a fascinating way to think about a story many of us know so well. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that dives deep into history, faith, and the human story. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Jesus would have written in his diary? See you in the next video.